All right, everybody, and thank you for joining me. I'm your host, Ryan Kirk, and I'm joined here with Walter Monaco and with Corey Ellick, and we're here today to talk about a deal that Corey just closed. Corey made $3,840, and I think he did it in about 40 days. I know. I think it closed yesterday or the day before, and I think he got started, at least with us. I think you got started with us end of December, right? I think January 1st. So I think that's about 40 days.
I think Ryan, from when he signed up till he closed, it was 40 days, but the deal took about 2 weeks to close or so.
Yeah, I know, and yeah, exactly. The deal was a 14-day close. So cool. So let's talk about it. Corey, maybe tell us a little bit about yourself and your background.
Okay, yeah, sure. So, well, I'm originally from Hampton Roads area in Virginia. That's the southeastern part of Virginia. Virginia Beach. Pretty much everyone knows Virginia Beach, big Navy town. So, yeah, I grew up there, went to school, went to college there, and I got my real estate license there, and I was about 22, my sophomore year of college, 21, 22. So I started selling real estate in Virginia. So about 4 or 5 years, then I made a transition here to San Diego. My full-time job, which is management analyst, program engineer, relocated me here, and I got the knack to get back into real estate. So I never really told anyone, so I joined the gym up the street, LA Fitness, and Walt and I, we were basketball buddies for a while, and one day I was trying to leave the gym, and Walt just talked me into playing an extra game. Man, he's motivating like that. So I ended up playing an extra game. One thing led to another. We started talking about real estate, and turned out Walt was real big in real estate. So that stayed in my mind, and I knew I wanted to get into real estate. I wasn't sure if I wanted to sell again. I was more interested in investing. So I randomly texted Walt one morning. I said, "Hey, man, if I needed help drawing up a contract for wholesale, could you help me with that? Or do you know anyone who can help me?" And immediately he called me. And then that's when I found about 188 cash offer. So that was about late December with the text message and the call between Walt and I. And, yeah, I signed up January 1st. And, yeah, like Walt said, actually within 2 weeks we got an accepted offer. So the process in totality was about 40 days, yeah. But just from me hitting it and staying consistent, about 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, we got an accepted offer on Borrego Springs property that we just closed on.
Nice. So cool. Yeah. So in totality, about 2 weeks on the deal because we always write it up. Usually 14-day closes. Right. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about how you located the deal. Maybe what drew you to, where'd you find it? How'd you find the deal, and what drew you to it?
So I went through about, initially when I started the system, I have to say I made at least 500 phone calls maybe within a week or so. And some of them were good, some of them were, no, we're not looking to sell, or some of them were, no, we want to keep the property within the family. And so I kind of deviated, and I said, well, I know the criteria that I've learned from the system, and I know what I'm looking for. So let me just try to dibble and dabble in Zillow on my own without anything that I know is vacant, anything that I know is in probate. So I put my research criteria in, and I didn't look at anything that had been on the market past 2 days, because anything else, it was small investors were on the frenzy. So the property that I found had just hit Zillow, which means in my mind that it actually was entered into the MLS probably 2 or 3 days prior. So I called I got in touch with the agent. Agent let me know that the property had been sitting for 5 years vacant, and the seller was in a different state, and they were just ready to, make a move and get rid of it. So initially, Walter and I believe you too, we went over the numbers and we said, hey, look, this is what we think would be a great price for this property. And they said no. They said no way. That's
Hey, Corey, talk about what they were asking.
I don't even remember. Well, honestly,
they were asking 260 for the property.
260. Okay, yeah, because we came at them and we offered 145, and they said no way, that's way out of our ball range. We aren't accepting anything less than 260. It's in the ballpark. So I was done. I said, okay, look, that's not a deal for us, and I just kept moving. I had to say I was probably on my next 20th property trying to make phone calls. And they called me back the next week randomly, and she left me a message and texted me. She said, hey, would you still offer the 145? I believe the seller will accept. So I got a hold of Walt right away and said, sure. So we sent everything over, and that got the ball rolling.
Nice. Yeah, fantastic job, great work. Yeah, I remember seeing that come in, and I noticed, I think the property was on the market January 6th, right? You made the offer, maybe it was that week, and then you heard back the next week.
Yeah.
So then it happened pretty quickly, and then we had it in contract, and then had a couple of slight delays, and it was mostly because the seller's side, they weren't so easy to work with. They were out of state. They kind of had a difficult listing agent, but regardless, we got it done, right? We got it all finished and wrapped up. So, very good. So how are you feeling now? What's next? How is the ease of the system and you being able to run your numbers and come up with analysis? Was it helpful? I mean, and hit us with it straight. Hit us in the gut with it. Your pros, your cons, whatever it is.
So the system gave me everything that I needed, and the thing that I couldn't believe was that the system was free. And it's like a gold mine because everyone goes to the seminars. They say, hey, they give you this big emotional pitch and say, hey, buy my product and we'll teach you how to do it. And your system teaches you how to wholesale. I had no knowledge. I had knowledge of wholesaling. I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know what to look for. And I would constantly call Walt and say, hey, let me know what to look at to know if I see a deal or not. And everything is in the system, from the numbers down to the questions you should ask, even to a script, which I thought was great. So the system was excellent. I can't even lie about that. The only thing I would say, I don't have a mouse, so I wish I could tab through a lot of things instead of clicking. But that's the only different only hiccup I could see that I had. But the system was great. Definitely a good learning tool. Also, even as far as offering title searches and or not title search. Well, yeah, you can say title searches and the intellect skip search. That was great. Like that, those are tools that real estate agents get, that they pay for quarterly. So I don't have anything bad to say about the system. So much so that I referred it out to a couple guys back east, and I told them, I said, hey man, look, even though you're not in California, this system works wherever you are. You don't have to be in California to notice a deal. If you click on one of these leads and the numbers match up, that can be your deal. So they are all on board, and they're kind of calling me like I know everything now. But yeah, the system is great, man. I don't have anything bad to say about the system.
Well, if you don't mind me jumping in here, Ryan, one of the things that I'd like to point out that Corey said, the first one was, he said that after working with the system, making 500 calls, getting familiarizing yourself with the system, you went ahead and decided to deviate from the plan, and then you started setting filters on Zillow itself and started finding stuff. That is what the system does. It allows, once you get to know the system, you get to understand it, now you can deviate, you can expand, you can start using your own creativity, and it all comes out to benefit you at the end. And if you can pick that one sentence that Corey said, that would really benefit you in any future experiences or endeavors that you have with us. And the next thing too was that, that agent that Corey reached out to, she's forming a relationship with 188 Cash Offer. she just sent me an email full of listings, and we forwarded that over to you because you brought that agent in. So those are leads that you'll have someone to now working for you. You have a little soldier out on the field before you that will feed you stuff and cultivate that relationship with her as well too, because it'll keep you being fed. So.
Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. No, and you're right. At the end of the day, it's all about multiple streams of leads. And every day, it's not just Walter, you, Corey, myself, but our programming team too. I mean, we are improving. We're putting in, new features, and we'll have better prospecting going into it too. Better and just more automated, more optimized. So you'll see that happen because it's still in its infancy. But you're exactly right. Then you run with the criteria of what you're looking for, and it doesn't have to just be a lead in the system, but maybe you find it on, for sale by owners are a great type of lead. Your lead was actually listed by an agent, but it was like 2 days on market. It was vacant, and it was a fixer. Fixer being probably the most important, and that's what we're looking for. And a motivated seller. Yep. Yep, a motivated seller. So that's what we're looking for. Motivated sellers who have a fixer type property and they want to get it sold, and we buy based on terms, but use all cash as well. But typically doing the 14-day period. So nice. So great. So that should give you some more skills to run with, and you should be able to notice a lot more properties around you.
Yeah, definitely. That's one thing. Now I can't drive down the street without noticing the property. I find myself, if I see something that looks torn down or boarded up or anything, I make sure I write the address down, search it in the title search, skip search it, and anything now in my mind is a potential lead. So I can't, like I said, I can't drive down the street without noticing things now.
Nice, yeah, and it's fairly easy, right? I mean, it's fairly easy to crunch the numbers, get the offer out, and get the deal in contract, right?
Yeah.
Yep, and then we all kind of go to work as a team and pull on the same end of the rope and get it done. Well, that's great. I don't have any more questions. How about you guys?
Corey, for someone who I know that you had a real estate background already, and I think that coupled with the system allows you to deviate, like you said. But what would you say to someone who doesn't have that experience, who's trying the system out?
Yeah, like you said, I have a real estate background, but I didn't have a real estate wholesaling background. So I feel like everything that I learned from the system was brand new. So if you literally pay attention to every single thing in the system and go through every training and take notes diligently, I feel like it's a no-brainer. Like, the system does the work for you. If you pay attention to the trainings that Ryan goes through, that you go through, and I feel like just going through that, you will learn how to wholesale real estate. You will learn what real estate wholesaling is. So, I mean, I knew how to, be a listing agent, get a seller, write up a contract, make an offer, or things like that. But I did not know how to pretty much invest in real estate with no money. So.
Right, and let me ask you this: from you having a listing agent background, right? Mm-hmm. And you be honest. I mean, me too. I've gone out. I've listed some properties too. But right. What do you, now that you've done a wholesale deal, how did that? What do you maybe prefer? Would you prefer to maybe go back out and list properties, or do you like this angle of playing real estate?
You know what? How I see, if I was just to envision a real estate career, I would envision wholesaling just being another tool in my toolbox. Yeah, I can list properties, but you are always going to run into those sellers who need to sell and want to sell, and as a listing agent, there's nothing you can do for them. So if I have real estate wholesaler in my arsenal, this is a way I can still help a potential client, get out of the property that they need to, get the money that they need, and, me making the profit on my end too. So I wouldn't say either or. I would say that it's more of a caveat than either or.
There you go. So like maybe one hand washes the other.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
you could do an either approach. The deals that are maybe retail, you list. The deals that are fixers, you obviously put under contract.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I gotta get going. Once again, Corey, congratulations and
Congrats.
And do you have another deal already?
Not yet. Got something in the works.
What a slacker. All right, guys.
2 weeks.
All right,
guys.
All right.
Congrats again, Corey.
Thanks.
I'm proud of you.
All right.
All right. See ya.